found and reported on. I've even found things about weird UFO groups in like the 1930s or like alien channelers or something. Some kind of group was drawn here in the 1930s because they believed this was a very special place. There's a lot of very special, areas here. There are mountains that do look like Devil's Mountain that if you are to get here, there is a very specific mountain that you can see in the distance. And if you keep it to one side of you, you will get yourself here. It is very flat, like Devil's Mountain. It's very interesting. And one of the reasons that a lot more is known now about Zona del Silencio is because of this guy. I think he might be a recurring character. There's a guy named Jamie. And Jamie is it Jaime?
I think it might be, it's more likely to be Jaime. I've seen the spelling both ways, so I wasn't sure myself. Like even while researching within the same document, it will be spelled both ways. I'm going to say it's probably Jaime.
Let's just stick with Jaime. So Jaime is a very interesting character in this. So when that rocket crashes in 1970, for some reason, the U.S. government chooses a local man named Jaime to be the security guard to just watch over the thing. Once they find this very important missile of theirs, they're building an airstrip to like do all this stuff here. They're leaving the security up to just one local man. And he is supposedly, now I have no idea. We might see if he is still around or a relative is around, but supposedly he is the one he kind of let the word out a little more about what is going on around here. And it was his plan to bring attention to the area. And it did work because a lot of curiosity seekers, they do make the long trek out here to experience for themselves the wonder and the mystery of the Zona del Silencio. And the locals, Drea, the locals even have a name for those who venture out here. They call them Zoneros. That's neat, huh?
Yeah, no, I think that's neat. I have to wonder if it's almost derogatory in like, oh, here come these people who just want to sniff around about this area. Like, is it a good thing or a bad thing to be called Zoneros?
I don't know. I wouldn't consider us Zoneros. So if it is a bad thing,
no, this is a little bit different. Yeah. We have to.
We don't have to ask somebody. It is very quiet here. But we are here on business. So we are not Zoneros. We are not just letting anyone know. We are not just rolling in here as Zoneros. And an interesting tidbit I found out about the locals is that when these Zoneros tell them that they didn't experience anything strange, the residents have to explain to them that the zona is not a static location, that the zona moves around this part of these three states. And that, which I was happy to learn that we don't have to come to the same place every time for these recordings.
But that's
this first one
also
is
a little disconcerting. That's a little worrying to me.
Well, what? No, well, I think it would be more boring
that it moves.
Oh, that it moves. Well,
that's kind of scary to me. But because like what moves it? That's that brings up so many questions. And then how are we going to find it every time if it disrupts all our compasses? We'll figure it out.
Well, I kind of look at it as it seems to tie in with so much other paranormal stuff. If the idea that this might move around, that there are strange things involved with here. We know there are weird portals. We've heard stories of psychic Sasquatches and Mothmen, and who knows what is popping. If Fresno night crawlers are popping out of portals, it would make more sense than that they're just walking around California in Fresno. It would make more sense that some strange portals pop up and things happen. Maybe this is just, this is definitely a magnet for all kind of strangeness. So the fact that this does move around, it does seem like something in an area where there would be a lot of cryptid sightings, where they happen in different parts of it, a very desolate area.
True.
I can't find a more desolate area than this.
It's very Bermuda Triangle, Bridgewater Triangle. This is the version of it located in the middle of a desert for once, as opposed to...
Yeah, how exciting, right?
Which, it makes sense when you think about at least the location of, say, Area 51, although that was planned because of its desolate location, for it to be in the middle of nowhere was intentional. This, I feel, is more of a natural occurrence that just so happens to be in a desolate area in the.
It seems like more of a surprise
Yeah.
to pretty much anyone involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I was definitely surprised to be contacted to be part of this. I think the U.S. military was really surprised that their missile went way out of the way. I think space was surprised.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
meteors just want to go to this one place.
The entirety of
Space can be
space was very
surprised.
surprised. Yeah.
They
All
were shocked.
of the star systems.
They were all talking. It was amazing. And speaking of amazing, one of the more amazing things to happen here was when the National Enquirer did a report on the Zona. Wow, the National Enquirer. And they made a lot of outlandish claims about what is going on here. And a lot of it is what we have spoken about already, the UFOs, the electronic failures, the magnetic anomalies, even the strange mutated flora and fauna. But they even went further with that. And the National Enquirer claimed that there were three-headed sheep that could be found roaming around here, and even deformed humanoids and creatures. What do you think?
Oh, wow. Okay, that scares me. I mean, I would be frightened enough to find a three-headed sheep. I would have been frightened enough to encounter that strange seal creature that came out of Mel's hole that had one eye. Like, anything that's just not normal will definitely, I won't say scare me like I'm going to run away, but
I feel good though. Look, we're doing this for, the Zona del Silencio. Well, they've given us a little bit of equipment. Now, for some reason, we have been sent with equipment. We do have like recorders. I don't know. Nothing is working that I have with me. But one thing I do have, if we see one of these things, I'm just going to be like, all right, you heard? They gave you your blaster.
Yeah.
You gave you your blaster, right? You see it?
Yeah. I didn't know I was allowed to use this. Well, that was a mistake.
Look, if I see this humanoid or three-headed man coming or sheep or whatever, I'm just going, I hope we can shoot out here.
I think it'll be fine. I can't imagine anybody else getting hurt. There's nobody out here. So, oh God, now I'm a lot more scared about this. Like, I was feeling okay about this whole thing before. We're just going to be researching and discussing and whatnot. But now, now I'm kind of freaking out.
Well, I'll put it up. Look, it's fine. The deformed humanoids are definitely not around here. There's no three-headed sheep that we've seen so far. And I know National Enquirer, that is not the most reputable news source, but who knows? Wasn't that in the Men in Black movie? Wasn't that the conceit in that the National Enquirer was hiding real stories amongst the...
It's actually the best place to look because nobody pays attention to them. Nobody gives it any credit. That's kind of what you're looking for. That's the ideal situation, right? When you're researching something incredible and unreal, you don't want hordes of people breathing over your neck and scrambling over you.
Yeah, well, there was some, and they're sprinkling some kind of truth in there, whether it be the radio transmissions not working or the mutated humanoids and three-headed goats that we might see around here. But one thing I wanted to touch on before we head back was the question of, how are we being recorded here? This is the Zona del Silencio. This doesn't really make sense. And it's kind of something that I was wondering about as well, seeing that apparently nothing else works here. But I have a theory about that. Mm-hmm. All right? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, strap in for this. So while I'm getting settled in earlier at the HQ, I had to move my desk. It was way too close to the wall. I need a little bit of leg room for research. And while I'm doing that, I noticed a file tucked under the desk. Drea, have you ever heard of something called Acoustic Kitty?
Oh my God. I that is very familiar in the back of my mind. I think I remember wanting to call a band that at some point. I remember that. It was some kind of government operation.
Well, so what I found is that Acoustic Kitty was a CIA project launched by the Central Intelligence Agency Directorate of Science and Technology. And in the 1960s, it intended to use cats to spy on the Kremlin and Soviet embassies. In an hour-long procedure, a veterinary surgeon implanted a microphone in the cat's ear canal, a small radio transmitter at the base of its skull, and a thin wire into its fur. And this would allow the cat to innocuously record and transmit sounds from its surroundings. But due to problems with distraction, the cat's sense of hunger had to be addressed in another operation. This poor cat of Acoustic Kitty.
I remember hearing about it. I don't know how I didn't know that that's exactly what they were doing. But how could they not account for a cat wandering off. And I've had several cats in my life, and I know it's very hard to get them to do what you want them to do.
Well, maybe this wasn't so much about the cats as maybe the technology. And it was very expensive. Victor Marchetti, a former CIA officer, said Project Acoustic Kitty cost about $20 million to work on. The first Acoustic Kitty mission was to eavesdrop on two men in a park outside the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. And the cat was released nearby. Drea, Acoustic Kitty. He's out there. He's going to listen to some Russians. He's going to find out some stuff. He's on his way. But he was hit and allegedly killed by a taxi almost immediately.
Oh, no. Oh, geez. First of all, what a waste of money. Second of all, poor cat. No, the other way around. I definitely feel sad for the cat, but dang, that's an expensive cat to get killed by traffic.
I think we could rebuild him stronger,
better.
Faster. More human and in the desert. Yeah, there's not a lot of taxis out here. So this is a little theory I'm working on. Maybe Acoustic Kitty technology has advanced a little more.
Acoustic cactus.
Well, supposedly the project was canceled in 1967 after this tragic taxi Acoustic Kitty accident. And a closing memorandum said that the CIA researchers believed that they could train cats to move short distances, but that, quote, the environmental and security factors in using this technique in a real foreign situation force us to conclude that for our purposes, it would not be practical.
Very good decision on their part. You cannot control cats that well.
But there are other people you can. You can give them certain bones that they can go play in the Zona del Silencio, and they have to they could be called research agents. Who knows? I know I was given a screening when I arrived, so maybe there's a recording device in here. It's just a theory I'm going with.
There must be. And like I said, I am more than happy to wear the label of research agent because agent sounds so cool, and I've never gotten that much of a title in any of my jobs, so I'm leaning into it. I am super excited about this opportunity.
Oh, same here. Everyone's been really nice here. And I see our time is getting short here, so we're going to start heading back. And while we do, I'm going to give my little final thoughts. Disseminating this research for me, it's led me to believe that there is indeed something to this area. I believe this to be a very special area of the world that is not fully understood yet. And I'm excited to see where this research endeavor leads. What about you, Drea?
Definitely. I mean, I have at this point more questions than anything, but I mean, it's been hard enough for me to get a job lately, so I'm more than happy to accept this, and I feel like we're safe. I'm very interested in the topic and all these things out here. I love the desert. I'm just excited to see what happens, and I think this is a good thing.
Same here. I'm excited to see what our first case is going to be. And I think that's it. They told me to use this. We will get a signal once we are out. I think we were almost out. I'm getting a signal. Until next time.
Nunca llegarán allí.
Zona del Silencio is underwritten by ZDS Inc., ZDS R&D, and the Zona del Silencio Media Outreach Department. If you have a case that requires research, we can be contacted through Zona del Silencio Podcast at gmail.com, at Zona del Podcast on Twitter, and Zona del Silencio on Instagram. ZDS. Research, observe, disseminate.